With this lesson, that's the first lesson in our chord construction, and we're going to learn how to create a major chord. Now, up until now, we've been quite happily playing all our C's, D's, E's, F's, all the chords that we know just from what you've been told to play. But now we're going to work out why they are and what they are and where they come from and actually how they got worked out in the first place. So the first thing we have to do is take our C major scale. So we know the notes of a C major scale are C, D, E, F, G, A, B and C, and we know that each of those notes is assigned to what's called a scale degree, where C is the first, D is the second, E is the third, etc. So we have the first, second, third, fourth, all the way going up there, and they relate to the notes of the major scale. Now, to create the major chord, what we do is we apply a formula. Now, the major chord formula is 1, 3 and 5. That refers to the notes of the major scale. So by taking that, we take a C note, which is the 1, the E note, which is the third, and the G note, which is the fifth, and we come up with the notes of C, E and G, being the 1, 3 and 5. So let's just test that. We've been quite happily playing a C chord like this. So let's have a look at what notes we've actually got. We know we don't play the 6th string because we muffled that one out with our thumb, so the 6th string isn't applied. The first note we play is on the 5th fret, which is the 5th string, 3rd fret, which is a C note, so that's fine, that's our 1. The next note is on the 2nd fret of the 4th string, and that's an E note, so that's the 3. And then we play an open 3rd string, which is a G, so there's our C, E and G, that's the 1, 3, 5. Let's keep on going through the chord though. And then we have the note on the 1st fret of the 2nd string, that's a C note again, and then the open 1st string is an E again. So they all relate. We've got C, E, G, C and E, and that relates perfectly to our major scale theory that we worked out, being the major chord formula of 1, 3 and 5, or C, E and G. So 1, 3, 5 is our major scale major chord formula, which comes from the major scale. Let's test it now in G. Let's create a G major scale and work out the notes there. So we know the G major scale goes G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp and G. So let's look now at the notes of the 1, 3 and 5 for our major chord formula. So the 1 is a G, the 3 is a B, and the 5 is a D. So we have the notes of G, B, and D. And let's test that against our chords. This is a G chord. Let's go through all the notes now. The first note is on the 3rd fret of the 6th string, that's a G note. Next note is on the 2nd fret of the 5th string, and that's a B note. Next note is an open 4th string, which is D. Then we have an open 3rd string, which is G. Then we have an open 2nd string, which is B. And then we have 3rd fret, 1st string, which is G again. So that all those notes are part of our 1, 3, 5 formula. When we worked it out from the theory, we worked out the notes were G, B and D. When we have a look at what we're actually playing on the guitar, we see that all those notes of that chord are part of that. So that's how you work out major scales or major chord formula. Let's try it now on D. Let's take a D major scale, which of the notes are D, E, F sharp, G, A, B, C sharp and D. Let's take the 1, 3, 5, which is D, F sharp and A. And let's have a look at our chord. So we've got we don't play the 5th and 6th strings. We've got the open string 4th, which is the D. Then we've got the 2nd fret 3rd string, which is an A. Then we've got 3rd fret 2nd string, which is a D. And then 2nd fret 1st string was an F sharp. So we've got D, A, D and F sharp. So we repeat the D there, but that doesn't matter, so long as we have those 3 notes in there somewhere, and the root note of course being the first, the lowest note of the chord, then we're right. So this does relate to what we're actually playing, and what the major scale and then the major chord formula tells us to play is exactly the same. So that's how you create major chords. You take the major scale and you take 1, 3 and 5 from it, and you have a major chord. So experiment around, play with chords, play with notes, test yourself on bar chords, play an A bar chord, and then work out the notes of the A chord from your theory from the A major scale, and just see if it relates there. Try it on any other chord that you know and see if it works out exactly the same.